welcome back. I'm Raviepops and I'm going to be talking about week 18 and 19 of the STEPS programme. I bundled these together because they both are on, it's part 1 and part 2 on boundaries and relationships, and I thought I'd just go through some little bits and bobs with you. So in part 18 it says you will know you're improving relationships and boundaries when you enjoy healthy supportive relationships, you communicate with family, friends, co-workers and others is important, you are assertive, you are assertive and rather than aggressive or passive, you are willing to resolve conflict in a positive manner, you establish and maintain healthy boundaries, you set limits with others, you break away from negative or abusive relationships and situations, you do not make yourself responsible for others' feelings, you understand that others cannot be expected to read your mind and guess what your needs are. In fairness to them, you will ask for help and your needs. Okay, so that's a lot. So I think this is great, and I understand why it's set out like this and why 18 and 19 are on relationships, because you really do need to work on yourself and get yourself to a place where you can. I always ask myself, what can I provide in a relationship? What can I provide in a friendship? Like, what am I bringing to the table? And if you don't feel like you can do that and you've got that energy to provide to someone, then it's not for you. But you need to work on yourself to get yourself to that point first, which is why in the STEPS program, the 18 weeks up to this, you're not really talking about like leisure activities or stuff like that until the end, because they're things that you add in at the end when you're managing the other things that you have going on. You know, when you've got your backpack ready for that storm that inevitably will come. So I do think that's right, and I think like part of, obviously with the EID and BPD, you get attached very easily. It's called favourite person. You know, you get what you call a favourite person. You go, your mental health looks like it can you know, stabilise us both. I'm going to just piggyback on your mental health. And that's a point where you're trying to get away from. You're trying to get away from needing that other person's security of, if they're okay, then I'm okay. You need to find that within yourself before you can start adding other people in. And as much as like everyone in the world probably wants to be loved and cuddled and held and everything else, if you're not at a place where you can provide that for somebody else, is it fair to take that from them and take their, you know, their energy without providing it back? That's the way I'm kind of looking at it. So obviously, using the steps to identify, it's all about like communicating, managing the problems, challenging thoughts, making sure that you're doing what you want to do rather than just having your opinion swayed by another person that you're with. Warning signs of harmful or abusive relationships. Now, I think these are little statements that are kind of blanket statements of what to kind of look out for, what to ask yourself, kind of red flag sort of situations. Are not violent in other relationships, e.g. work friends, have regret, traditional views of sex roles and parenting, tend to focus more on their own needs, are usually not mentally ill and are responsible for their actions, often have poor self-image, are unable to experience their feelings constructively, are more violent when intoxicated, enjoy watching violence in media, enjoy pornography, deny the existence and severity of their violence, blame the victim for provoking the incident, are impulsive, tend to blame others, may be emotionally dependent upon partners, are narcissistic, feel entitled to act as they please, isolate and I don't even know what that word is. Like, I think it's kind of a word for manipulation by the context of it. But yeah, so it has like a list of these, and like some of them are a little red flaggy, but some of them are kind of blanket terms. Again, this was written a long time ago. And then part of week 18, it asks you to basically what you can ask yourself and write down if you're like me and don't like conflict and don't like to upset people. There's a, like, it says ask someone to do something for me is selfish, so then you would challenge that thought. So how would you challenge that? Asking for something isn't selfish, it's just asking for your needs. It's not a selfish act. I should sacrifice my needs and desires for others. And how would you challenge that one? Do you know what I mean? It's like, well, my needs are valid too. Why do their needs come before mine? Stuff like that. So it has like little sections to fill out there. And that was basically week 18. Now, week 19, it says, you will know you're improving relationship behaviours when you enjoy healthy, supportive relationships, communicate with family, friends, co-workers, and it's basically the same thing, break away from harmful ones. You do not feel responsible for other people's feelings, which is the big one that I'm working on at the moment. I'm trying to do this thing where I'm like, although my brain's like going, don't say that, it's going to upset somebody, you know, just go along with it, just you know, it's not worth upsetting them. I'm like, no. Say how you feel, and if they want to have an emotional breakdown because of how you feel, then that's on them. That's not your fault. I'm just speaking what I need right now, and what I need is blah 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 blah. So I've been practicing that. I've been practicing it. It's not going well, but I've been practicing, like most things. There's a thing about boundaries in week 19. Boundaries describe the limits that people set with others. Now, I'm not good with boundaries, if everyone already knows. Like, I've never really been a strong boundary person because I don't feel like a person. But I'm getting there, working on it, you know? And that's the main thing. Work on yourself before you, like, want to bring somebody else into your baggage, you know what I mean? I learnt that, like, I don't have the energy, like, as much as I want to. I just don't physically have the energy. Yesterday I just slept all day. I must have slept for about 14 hours yesterday, just because I had a few hours out the house the day before. It just wipes me out, and that's not fair on anybody to put on them. So anyway, boundaries. The boundaries, or the limits that you set between you and another person, are usually determined by the closeness of the relationship you have with that person. Boundaries can refer to such things as how close you get to another person physically, what kind of information you share with that person, or what kind of activities you will do with that person. For example, some choose to be in an intimate relationship with another person. The two are likely to be close physically as well as emotionally, and share feelings and discuss close personal information. On the other hand, if you just met a stranger on the bus, those behaviours would not be acceptable. So again, it's one of those things. I'm not good at the whole knowing when to stop. I overshare, and that is a thing that you do when you don't feel valid and you don't feel like you've got enough to offer, so you overshare and trying to explain away some of your quirks, explain away why you are the way you are, in order to keep people from leaving because you're weird. Because at least if they have a context of why you're weird, they might stick around. That's kind of where my brain goes, and that's why I over explain. But again, it's this section is all about like how we're having, I don't know if it's got it here, but it has like a little circle, and in the middle you're supposed to write yourself, and then in the next circle out it's everyone that's really close to you, so like your children, your mum, your dad, your family, friends, you know, those like best friends, those inner circle. And then as you get further out, it's like what you share with those. So it's sort of doing a visual representation of what is acceptable to share with people in the outer circle, because obviously the more information you share, the more you are you know, vulnerable. You know, you're putting yourself out there. I do it with these videos, I put them out there, and that makes me in a very vulnerable situation where people know a lot more about me than I know about them, and that can be dangerous. So it's all about learning your boundaries of what you want to share and what you're willing to have the consequences of your actions. Because again, with the steps program, it's all about not only managing, because you're never going to get rid of the emotional intensity disorder. It's always going to be there. You're always going to have those days where you just can't manage and your emotions go wild. But it's knowing what to do in those situations, and it's knowing how to minimize the damage of those situations, and then taking responsibility and accountability for your actions. Because I'm a very firm believer in, you can't just go, well, it was my mental illness, sorry, you know, oopsie, had a mental day, and be like, that's okay to be a twat to every single person you know because you're ill. No, that's like saying someone with diabetes is okay to eat like 10 chocolate bars in a session and then blame everybody else when they get ill. It's not going to happen. You'll be like, well, you put them in your mouth. Yes, I put them on the table, but you didn't have to eat them. Like, you knew what you were doing when you did it. And although I am a firm believer of, I am aware of what I'm doing when I'm doing it, however, it is one of those things where sometimes you just can't stop yourself. And that's the sad part of the disorder. You can't stop it when you have a rage fit. You can't stop it when you have, you know, you're crying for 12 hours. You know, it's not something you can stop. Once that tornado's hit, you can ride it out and hope that the damage it does is not going to completely explode your life. And explaining that and being open with the people in your life and being honest and being like, this is how I am, take me or leave me. And yeah, it's hurtful when they choose to leave, but being okay with that is where we're trying to get to. So yeah, that was basically the sessions. It's all about boundaries, setting yourself up for success. Don't let too many people into your little bubble, and if you do, make sure they fit. Like, that's the thing. I'm at a point in my life where I need to make sure whoever's coming into my life knows the facts, knows who I am, knows what I'm like, and can fit into my world. Because I'm at a point where I've had so much upheaval that I just want to be chill. And if I can be chill, that's fine. And if you can fit into my world, then that's great. But if they can't, then they can't. And that's okay too. But it's all about setting boundaries, knowing where you stand, and being honest and vocal with how you're feeling, which is difficult and very scary, very, very scary. Because it does put you in a situation where you might have to upset people, or you know, it's just not me. It's not me to upset people. It's not me to be honest. I'm more of a people pleaser. I'm definitely one to be like, you want to go skydiving? I can totally go skydiving, even though I'm really, really ill and I should not be going skydiving. I'll still do it because you wanted to do it, and that's not a good way to be. That's too people pleaser, and that's how people get in situations and things happen. So, new me, almost finished the course. Well, technically we've finished the course, and this was like the last week for material, and next week is just the wrap up. So, dead proud of myself that I did it, and definitely weeks 18 and 19 get you thinking about your relationships and get you thinking about all the people and techniques they've used on you to manipulate you in the past, which is very hard to overcome. And it's also really hard not to mistrust everybody else going forward. But again, it's all about setting boundaries, taking time, taking your sweet time to just figure yourself out and figure out what you want and where you stand, and that's the main thing. But thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video, hopefully. And there'll be a probably in the midweek a Fallout 76 video coming out, because I've got one recorded. I just need to edit it now. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.